Hello, everybody, and welcome live to 10-4 Broadcasting for tonight's presentation of the Powerhouse Racing League, race number 6 from Chicagoland. It's our very first broadcast of the Powerhouse Racing League here on 10-4 Broadcasting. We are very glad to have both them and you here tonight. We hope that you are getting ready for some great racing action. I'm Mitchell Adams, and I'm being joined here tonight by my co-host, Patrick Morrison. Patrick, very glad to have you with me here again tonight. I got to work with you for the first time Wednesday, and it's going to be another good night of racing here. What are you looking for, though, at Chicagoland?
Well, I'm looking to see some really close racing. I know these ladies and gentlemen out here are going to be having actually a little bit of trouble going on. These corners are a little tricky, and tire wear is going to be a huge factor. It seems the inside line seems to be quite favorable on the front stretch, but it's hard to say with the amount of grip these guys are getting around the outside.
Is Chicago... Oh, sorry to cut you off, Patrick.
Go ahead.
Said, from my experience here, I've always felt like Chicagoland was a little bit more of a unique racetrack here on iRacing. As qualifying is underway right now, I do want to mention for you all, but I've always felt like this was a trickier mile and a half because it's really different. It's really the multi-groove racing you can get here is kind of better than other mile and a halves I've always felt like, and the turns get pretty bumpy, so it's definitely a challenge for these drivers. And like you said, they have their hands full for sure tonight, but I'm really looking forward to watching these drivers in the Powerhouse Racing League put on quite the show.
That I agree. And like you said, you have multiple grooves. It's banked very well. It's kind of a flat track, but I mean, you got a high line, you got a mid line, you got a low line, and with Powerhouse Racing hosting this is going to be quite the show to watch.
You saw the number 9 of Robert Babcock there, kind of running the higher line up in turns 3 and 4 for his second lap of qualifying. Currently, though, it's the number 53 of Charles Evans up on top of the leaderboard. We have a couple drivers still out for qualifying. Well, there's Danny Pudden. I'm gonna butcher the last name. I'm sorry, Danny, and you all can help me after the race. I believe it's Salzgeber, but if I am wrong, I'm very sorry. Let's see. I do believe the number 28. No, the number 28 of David Moody is also no longer on track. So nobody out there for us to look at this moment, Patrick. But while the track is quiet, again, we do want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. I know this is the first time we have had the Powerhouse Racing League live on 10-4 Broadcasting, and you can see all the sponsors of the series ticking up there in the upper right-hand corner. You can go check them out. Pulling up my list now to run you through them, but this week, we've been at the mile and a half. This is race 5 of the season, so we are not at the season opener, race 6, excuse me. And just kind of to give you a little bit of an update on the point standings before we get racing. So number 19 of William, as another name I'm going to butcher. I got to ask you all about names after the race. William, I believe it's Boost Jr. That's probably really wrong. And Kayla McCarthy is also out on track in your number 24, out for her second lap of qualifying. The driver currently on top of the leaderboard, Charles Evans, is your points leader right now in the Powerhouse Racing League coming into tonight. He has just a 3-point lead over Lucas Gortman, who currently sits third, as Kayla McCarthy goes to second in the qualifying leaderboard. Only 9 one-thousandths of a second behind Charles Evans for the pole, but not quite close enough is Kayla, and that's kind of the nature sometimes of this mile and a half racing. And I feel like especially these ARCA cars bring it out because they're kind of lower horsepower compared to what we normally see in the NASCAR, the Cup cars, and Xfinity and trucks. And it kind of almost creates more of a challenge for these drivers because you really have to keep your speed up, your momentum up, and it's a different kind of beast these ARCA cars are, and I really enjoy it. It always puts on a great racing, and when I saw this league was racing the ARCA cars, I got really excited, Patrick, because I really feel like they put on some of the best racing on the iRacing oval platform.
I agree. ARCA cars is normally starting in Class D, but even all the way up to world class, these ladies and gentlemen are driving these cars. Honestly, my favorite are the ARCA cars, and not just for the lower horsepower, but I mean the great handling, the way the dash is set up, how they handle is really a short track friend. Is where I find my strengths with this car. With this being a mile-and-a-half track, they're going to be kind of reaching top end, so the draft and actually being able to tuck in how it's going is really going to be key here, especially in qualifying.
Yeah, they can be quite the handful, almost some of the more difficult cars to drive, I think, and they really don't get that reputation because the iRacing does allow them at an earlier license class, but they are, I think, the most difficult car to handle here at a mile and a half as qualifying is going to wrap up and the drivers are going to get gridded for the start of this race. And I will take you through your qualifying grid here really quickly before we get it going. The number 53 of Charles Evans, who is not yet out on the racetrack, starts on the pole. Kayla McCarthy in the number 24 starts second. Lucas Gortman in the number 16 rolls off from third. Jonathan Humphrey in fourth. Hunter Moody in fifth. Trevor Hoke in sixth. Sorry if I butchered this name. Same with this one. Jeffrey Romsdale in the number 97 is going to start from the seventh position. Jody Hoke in the number 322 is going to roll off from 8th. Ashton Hartman starts 9th. And rounding out your top 10 is David Moody. And Patrick, do you want to take him through the rest of the field here?
Sure. And it looks like in the 11th position, Robert Babcock. 12th, we got Danley Puddin. I'm not even going to try there, but Dallas Gaber. It looks like Troy Trudeau for 13th. Bart Hoek in 14th. We got Dustin Rouse in 15th. William Busey Jr. in 16th. Joshua Sousey in 17th. Charles Van Schaik in 18th. And rounding the very end is Richard Crane in 19th.
And we do apologize for any of the names we do mess up. We try our best, and I'm a mediocre name pronouncer, so if you want to come talk to me after the race or at any point before the next broadcast, same with Patrick, we definitely don't want to be missing your names. So please come talk to us. That is always something I want to emphasize. We try to do our best for you all. But that does round out your qualifying grid, and qualifying was very close. The top 5 were all within about 1/10 of a second, and the whole, let's see here, the top 10 were all within 0.25 hundredths of a second. So very, very close field here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway, led to the line by Charles Evans, your points leader, like we said, coming into the race tonight. Gotta keep an eye out for the driver of the number 53. I'll give you an idea of more of the points picture as well here. Jeffrey Romsdale, who rolls off in 7th, comes into tonight 3rd in points. Danny Puddin Salzgeber comes into tonight 4th, and Ashton Hartman is 5th place in points. So those are your top 5 coming in, your drivers to keep an eye on. Of course, we'll kind of highlight those drivers a little bit throughout the night if we get the chance. iRacing pace car lights are, though, immediately off, and we are going to get ready to go green for our very first broadcast of the Powerhouse Racing League on 10-4 Broadcasting. Again, I want to thank you all for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. This is definitely going to be a show. We have a very tight field, a lot of really good drivers, and a bunch of fast race cars. So I'm ready, Patrick. I know I've said it several times, so I'm really looking forward to this race. I know you are as well, as the iRacing pace car rounding through turns 3 and 4. Gonna hit pit road this time, putting the field in the hands of the number 53 of Charles Evans, waiting for the iRacing pace, not the iRacing pace car, the iRacing flagman to wave the green flag, and he does, and we are racing live here from Chicagoland Speedway, and it was a very good start for Charles Evans there in that number 53 as he gets out to the early race lead. The battle for second, though, is on between the 24 of Kayla McCarthy getting a lot of pressure here from the number 16 of Lucas Gortman into turns 3 and 4. Kayla McCarthy started second. Gortman trying to take it away, but we saw the high line being very good in practice. Some drivers took it in qualifying, Patrick, so I'm really curious to see who prevails here early on.
I agree. And as you can see there, you see them kind of right there on that front stretch starting to grab that bottom end. It may pick up a tenth or two here, but the high line, it will hold very well for top speed, with them being able to go around the outside, kind of get a nice smooth feel, not as much jerking around, not as bumpy, and then kind of be able to slingshot back around the outside. So you'll kind of see as they go around here toward the back stretch, they'll kind of crunch up, get real close, and then on the front stretch, we'll be spreading apart again. As you can see right here as we're diving in turn 1, ooh, and the 322 gets real close to the 97 there. Looks like 20's going to try and make up some ground there and try to see if he can make a move here in a little bit.
They were 3 wide down the front straightaway. You saw it just kind of in the background. They managed to sort it out single file, though, and as we look back up front, it is the number 24 of Kayla McCarthy who has won that battle for the second position over the 16 of Lucas Gorman, who actually drops to 4th. Trevor Hoke gets around him for that third position, so Gortman down to 4th for the time being, now getting pressured from that number 4 of Jonathan Humphrey there in that very nice yellow and black paint scheme. I like that one with the bright purple wheels there on that one. Back row sim racing on the hood of that car. Good battle, though, a little bit further back. It looks like here the number 28 of David E. Moody is tailing up. Well, he's 28 for me. It looks like he's the 20 there on screen. Going to dive it below the number 322 of Jody Hoke. They're trying to take away the 8th position. This little gaggle of cars being led by the number 11 of Hunter Moody. Oh, is there is contact. Contact. Number 322. Can he save it? Can she save it? Excuse me, Jody. No, Jody going to get locked down there on the infield apron. And first caution flag is in the air tonight. And we're going to go take a look at that one here on our 10-4 broadcasting replay.
Yeah, not as good right there with the 322 car going up and kind of clipping the wall there. Good way to play it safe. Ride down to the bottom of the track, lock up the brakes, let people get around you. Sometimes trying to fight, trying to save the car and get back up to the top. Ooh, boy, that doesn't look good.
I think it looked like the number 97 of Jeffrey Ramsdale got up into the wall into turn 3, and Jody kind of followed him up into the wall there. Number 97 managed to keep it going straight, but unfortunately for the 322 of Jody Hoke, that puts her spun around and into the infield, bringing out our first caution of the race. But it was a really good first couple of laps there. A lot of good side-by-side racing, so exactly what we would hope for here early on as drivers down pit road. Looks like everybody... No, not everybody, actually. I was a little bit wrong there. The 53 stays out, as well as a lot of other drivers. I think when this gets cycled through, about your top 11 are all gonna have pitted, or have not pitted, excuse me. I believe the 24 of Kayla McCarthy won that race out of pit road. She came in second, is gonna cycle out. We will see exactly where Kayla cycles out. I think around the 13th or 14th position, Patrick. But we do want to point out, before we get too far into the race as well, that we do have stages here in the Powerhouse Racing League. We have 3 stages here in the race. The first stage break is on lap 25. The second on lap 50, and then race to the end at lap 100. But your top 10 drivers all get stage points, so there is a lot to race for. I know I've raced with stages before in my iRacing careers. I don't know if you have, Patrick, but stage points, we see it in real life in NASCAR. It really plays a really big role when we get through the season, so these drivers are going to have a lot to race for here in the next 15 laps.
I agree, Mitchell. And that's kind of what you're seeing here. The first few laps is really a test for the drivers. Everybody kind of getting a good feel for where they're going, which race line's working for them here in the draft. About 5 or 6 cars came down pit road here, making those slight adjustments. It may cost them here in the beginning, and we'll see how it does in the first stage. But right now, it's the first stage. We're going to be dealing with another pit stop. Make your adjustments now. Now track temperatures are starting to change, and we should actually start seeing a lot faster racing coming up here in just a little bit.
Yeah, these drivers definitely got a good feel for the short run here, about a 6-lap run to open up this race. And Charles Evans really has a good feel for that car, I think, Patrick. He really hit the green flag and set sail on the start of that race. So that number 53 comes in your points leader, and he is fast here at Chicagoland Speedway. Has a win under his belt, I do believe, as well on the season. So he's definitely a driver to keep your eye on. In second place right now, though, is Trevor Hoke, who is making some good moves there at the start of the race. And the 16 of Lucas Gortman started third. It's going to end up restarting third here. We saw him lose a couple positions there on the opening start. We'll see if he can do any better here. iRacing pace car lights, though, are off, Patrick, and we're going to be going green on the next lap.
All right, and it looks like that your favorite yellow and black car looks like it was starting in the 4th position there. Yeah, and like I said, it's the track's starting to heat up. We're gonna start getting pretty close knit here. It's all gonna depend on the restart. If we get a good jump or everybody kind of moves smooth, is how we're going to kind of start separating the field. I think the 11 car is really going to have his work cut out for him here, trying to place where he's going to be. 16 seems to have it right. He's going to want to follow the leader. I think 11 may get in a little bit of a tie-up here. Mitch, which line would you prefer on the restart? Would you prefer to be on the inside or the outside there, Mitchell?
Well, I think if I'm Charles Evans, I got such a good restart there off the inside on the initial start of the race. That's exactly where I want to be here. But I think if you're anybody else, we saw Kayla McCarthy start second and was able to defend that second place position off the high line. So I like Trevor Hoke there up on the outside. I think that's the place you seem to want to be, at least in the early goings here of the race. But iRacing pace car down pit road, and we are back under green flag racing. Charles Evans, another very good start. Another good start for the 16 of Lucas Gortman there on that inside lane, trying to get underneath the 84 of Trevor Hoke to challenge once again for the second position. Doesn't look like he was quite able to make it stick, though, through turns 1 and 2. Watch for a run from the number 4 of Jonathan Humphreys. Behind them's a good battle, though, for the 5th place position between Hunter Moody and David Moody. Are the two Moody's related? They could be. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see. But David Moody also up quickly, making a move on the number 4 of Jonathan Humphreys there for the 4th position, trying to make it work on the inside lane. But it really seems like, Patrick, the outside lane really gets the momentum going quickly, and you see the number 4 has help from Hunter Moody with the draft on the outside lane, so that is going to help him out quite a bit too. But really, the preferred line for the field, at least early on, seems to be the outside, but we see the 11 of Hunter Moody dipping below Jonathan Humphrey, now, on the inside lane. So the outside seems to be the lane of choice, but drivers are making passes on the inside.
How about they are. And so, like I said, seeing how the 11 goes, unfortunately, it seemed like he spun his tires right there at the beginning of the race. He seemed to link up with the 4 car there, where he's getting ready to look on the inside here, see if he can quick make a move, see if that momentum will carry him through the turn, and he might have to tuck back in. I'm not sure here if he gets any help from the Moody there in front of him. It looks like he's going to tuck back in and just stay behind, conserve those tires, get the gas going through here, and see if we can get away. Seems the front 3 are starting to pull away here a little bit, starting to get a pretty decent gap. As you can see, we're starting to ride that low line a little bit. Tack might be heating up just a smidge there for everybody to kind of stick, but it seems that 1 and 2 there, they're staying high. Now, Mitchell, you kind of see they're riding low in 3 and 4 and then high in 1 and 2, which is really interesting. Definitely a different strategy. I've not seen that before.
it kind of comes down to which lane they feel like is fastest. We'll ride on board with race leader Charles Evans here to see exactly what he's doing headed into turns 3 and 4. You see him up in that very top seam of the racetrack, running very close to the wall. Not quite on that absolute Kyle Larson high line right up on the wall, but definitely very close up there. And we'll see into turns 1 and 2. Oh, he's going to run slightly lower, but about in the same place. We'll take a look back a little further at Hunter Moody back here, running 5th place in that number 11 machine. We'll see what Hunter does headed into turn number 3. See, he's going to run a little bit lower than leader Charles Evans did. And I'm really curious to see. I think I said dud. I don't even think that's a word that works in that situation, Patrick. But we'll see in turns 1 and 2 what he does. I am curious. Again, kind of in that middle lane. And that kind of leads me to think, is it possible that running that higher lane like we see race leader right now Charles Evans doing is what is giving him that little bit of extra speed, that little bit of commitment? Although I say that, and you can see the number 84 of Trevor Hoke there running the inside lane through turns 3 and 4, and even a different lane on the straightaway, not going down on the apron like your other race leaders. So I mean, a little bit of different strategy. We see him up on the top in 1 and 2, excuse me. But I mean, it's, what do you think, Patrick? I really feel like at this point it's where the drivers feel most comfortable early on. You're trying to keep your car clean through most of the races. We see the 84 does run a little lower in 3 and 4. Maybe that's just where Trevor feels more comfortable with his race car right now. But we see Lucas Gortman there in the 3rd position, getting pretty close here, and he's also running the outside lane.
Agreed. And I see we had a battle back there for, I think, 8th, 9th, and 10th position. They were back there about 3 wide. That's a little risky this early on in the race. Yeah, it looks like Miss Mitchell. It looks like she might have come up from the back after that pit road stop. I noticed the back, there seems to be starting to get 2 gaps going on here. As we kind of got we got the first 10, then we got, I think, 11 through 15, and then we're separating again, I think, to the backpack of about 6. But this is a good trial error. Oh, and we got a caution flag.
Yes, we do. That great battle is going to have to wait for just a moment as we search for the caution here on our 10-4 broadcasting replay, and I believe I have found the source. We'll get a look at it right here. See, this is actually the big incident happens on the front straightaway, but we have to go all the way to the back stretch here. Entrance of 3 and 4. This is the 23 of Charles Van Schaik. Gets up into the wall in turns 3 and 4, locking it down okay up there, but you see him come down the track, and there's the number 61 of Bart Hoke. Just gets clobbered with a whole front end of that number 23, and we'll get another look at it here from on board that number 61. But that's a big incident here, a lot bigger than our first caution here.
Yeah, quite unfortunate for 61, but that's where I was talking about those the kind of multiple group pack. As it seemed, the second pack there, unfortunately, he got stuck right in the wall, and it does. The wall kind of creeps up on you, and it'll actually hook you in pretty hard. 61 there, kind of riding this high line. I don't know if he started getting loose. Oh, man. And 23 finally popped off the wall, and just wrong place, wrong time.
You see the 23. The 23 just kind of came down a little bit on exit, and the number 61 didn't see that one coming. Really unfortunate, because those guys, we had a great race going there in the middle of the pack, and you saw some good racing there from where we were looking at, but these drivers now headed down pit road here. Not everyone, though, down pit road. Number 84 of Trevor Hoke has stayed out and is your race leader right now over the 53 of Charles Evans. So that might... we missed how that happened. Maybe a pass in pit road. They did come down pit road. I'm not completely sure, but one way or another, Trevor Hoke is your new race leader with... We'll see. This is lap 21. The stage is on lap 25. I'm curious to see when we go green if they will call this the stage or if they will go green for a lap or two and then we have another stage caution. We will wait and see. Meanwhile, we looking in the chat. I don't think we have anybody in the chat, but if you want to chat with us while you are watching, feel more than free to do it. We are nice people here. We don't bite on 10-4 broadcasting. Feel more than happy to get in the chat room with us if you are watching, and leave us a like if you enjoy the broadcast. It really helps us out here. And again, we are very happy to be with you for the first time on a Saturday night. I know I had a big day in the outside of SimWorld, so I'm looking forward to on Saturday sitting down and watching some good racing with the rest of you, and you too, Patrick.
And here we are, joining each other. But yeah, seeing how it's staged, this may work out for the 61 car that unfortunately ran into the back of the 23. That they will have time during pit road to make some repairs, come out, under another caution lap, make some more repairs, and then during the stage reset, he'll be able to go in and make some more repairs and hopefully remain competitive, because he did seem to have a good line. He was starting to get linked up with the right people to get back on track, but just the unfortunate part of the gentleman coming off the wall and running into the back of him. Accidents happen, but unfortunately, this is it's iRacing. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it looks like a clean front end. I'm assuming there was a fast repair involved in that. No, I take it back. Getting a little bit of a closer look at it, there is still some damage on the front end of that number 61 of Bart Hoke. So I didn't think they had fast repairs in this series, but I saw that from a distance and I thought, oh, maybe he took one. But no, that is not the case, and I was wrong. I apologize. I'm not perfect. I do that sometimes here. It will definitely not be the first time. But iRacing pace car lights back off again. Trevor Hoke gonna lead the field to green over Charles Evans. This will be Evans' first time starting up on the outside line, as Hoke gonna take the inside lane here. And look who's starting in third once again, Patrick. It's none other than Lucas Gortman, who's been there every start and restart we've had thus far.
That he is, and he's going to have his work cut out for him. The 61 is now pulling down pit road. He'll be able to squeeze in, but with pace car having the lights off, he's really going to have to make up some ground here, as these guys seem to be pulling out of 2 going into 3. To make up before this green flag drops. He's got to get back in line and be ready to go. So, see, yep, here we go. All right, he's catching up.
You can see him exiting turn 2 now there on the track map. He is that car in the middle of the back straightaway. I think he will just squeak by and make it, is what it looks like here. iRacing pace car, though, going to pull down pit road. I am going to go with the assumption that this was not the stage caution and that we have a little bit of a 1 or 2 lap shootout here to the stage. iRacing pace car down pit road. Great start for the number 84 of Trevor Hoke, who puts us back under green flag racing once again. Got a very good jump over the 53 of Charles Evans, who's going to get passed by the 16 of Lucas Gortman, who finally gets it done on this restart. Gortman up into the second position. See where this leaves the rest of the field. Good battle a little bit further back here for the 4th position between the 20 of David Moody and the number 11 of Hunter Moody. Behind them is also Jonathan Humphrey and Kayla McCarthy racing really hard. Look at that move from the number 4 of Jonathan Humphrey there, trying to get underneath and around the number 24. This is a great little battle we have ourselves right here. There's also a pretty good battle going on a little bit further back in the pack. Here's the number 9 of Robert Babcock racing with the number 36 of Richard Crane and the number 322 of Jody Hoke, who went around on the apron causing our first caution. She is back out running strong in the 14th position. Meanwhile, back up here as caution flag is out for the stage. So that little 2-lap shootout has come to an end with the number 84 of Trevor Hoke winning your first stage.
What a battle that was. As you can see, they were pushing around, doing really well. Some of these guys are really looking forward to a fresh set of tires for the ones that haven't pit. Fuel economy in this fuel stage won't be as much. I believe the next stage will probably be lap 50, and then we should be the 50 from there on out. So the last stage will be really the fuel consumption concerns, but right now it's going to be 4 tires, repair any damage from the scrapes, and we're back to racing.
Here with a 50 lap final stage, you're definitely looking at green flag pit stops there, unless something happens. But yeah, here a lot of drivers really looking forward to those fresh tires. I don't know who all pitted and who didn't there exactly under that caution, but I can tell you Chicagoland is a track that burns a lot of tires. It is a little bit cooler here. We are racing in the night, so that does help. And there is another note, is that they do run, if what I am reading is up to date, they have a 50% fuel capacity in these cars. So the fuel tank's 50% smaller than you might expect in, say, NASCAR ARCA series. So that is definitely something to keep note. So I would say 25 laps might be short of the fuel window. I don't know exactly how far these cars can go, but I would assume it would be 40 or 50-ish laps. So probably right on the number here, as most of the field is down pit road now to get those 4 fresh tires. Presumably you see the number 53 getting jacked up there by the crew. I do believe we had one car stay out on track. The number 9 of Robert Babcock there was on the lead lap too, as well as I believe the number 97 was down pit road, just got a really fast pit stop there. But the number 9 stays out, Patrick, possibly pitted there at the lap 23 caution, and now the number 9 of Robert Babcock's going to be presumably your race leader when we go back green.
Great. It looks like the 97 may have only taken fuel and right side tires. I believe he pit a little bit early in the last stage, but it seems he feels like he's ready to go. The tire wear maybe not that much of a concern on the left sides, but I'm curious to see how well he pulls through on this one, especially on the restart where you got a better chance of spinning tires and how you're going to launch, especially if he's starting from the outside.
Yeah, it will be curious to see how well that 2-tire call does, because if it works, as if you were that number 97, you can put that in your bag for later and possibly do it again. But if you're the competition, if you're Robert Babcock or Lucas Gortman, Charles Evans, Trevor Hoke, any of those drivers up here, and you see those 2 tires work, you might want to remember that for the final pit stop in the race. I know in my experience I've won some races off that, so if it works, that is definitely a viable strategy, especially late in the race. So something we'll have to keep our eye on here on this next restart is the number 97 of Jeffrey Ramsdell, to see exactly how well he does. Stage 1 winner, though, Trevor Hoke, is down into the 4th position, got passed in pit road by the 16 of Lucas Gortman. Gortman had a much better restart there, Patrick, got up into the 2nd position, now leading the race off pit road. So if they're able to make quick work of these 2 up front, which it might be more difficult than one would think, because again, I don't believe they have pitted too long ago. He could have gotten himself up into the race lead, but I mean, he'll be starting at 3rd again, so he's the master of it by the end of this race. With the amount of times he's had to start from that 3rd position, you have to imagine he's going to get the hang of it by now, as number 9 takes the outside lane on this restart.
And you can see the pace car has the lights off, so this will be the last lap for the pace car ducks off on in. I don't know if you know, Mitchell, when it says that your fuel is going to be at 50% of capacity, we know these ARCA cars hold about 18.6 gallons. Does that mean it burns twice as fast, and I'm fighting with the weight, or does that mean I can only hold 9 and we're hoping to make it stretch as far as we can?
Well, it's kind of a mix of both answers. You can only hold 9, and you were fighting with the weight because you were dealing with a lighter race car off of 4 fresh tires. So it is a challenge in both regards. So you can go about half the laps you normally would, at least assuming they do it the way that I've always seen it done, which is It's a feature I like personally in series when they run shorter fuel tanks. It gets us more racing action here on the track. So big kudos to the Powerhouse Racing League for doing that here for us tonight. But yeah, they're going to get 9 gallons in the tank presumably, which would be about half the lap's distance. But pace car is down. The number 9 of Robert Babcock lead the field back across the start-finish line. We are green flag racing. It was a good start for the number 97 there on the inside lane. He is, I believe, fallen to the 3rd position. The number 84 of Robert Hook, excuse me, I believe, got the good jump, but caution flag back in the air, and we're going to have to go find it here on our 10-4 broadcasting replay. I believe it was a little bit of a restart incident. It was indeed. I have found it for us here. Let's see which car this is I am looking at, and then I'll be able to get it for you all. Here we go. All right, here on the restart, get a watch coming out of turn 3. This is coming to take the green flag. Number 23. Well, there's a little bit of contact up in front of them before they started, but it ended with the number 2 of Troy Trudeau going around. I'll get a little bit of a better look at that one here for you all, but it looks like a little bit of an accordion effect on the restart, Patrick.
Yeah, it looks like the number 36 car got a little bit excited, made that jump a little too early and bumped into 2, which unfortunately picked the rear end of 2 up there, and he kind of broke loose when it was time to go under green. So unfortunate. Couple more caution laps, and then get these guys to settle down a little bit. I think everybody's getting a little excited on the 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel, and ready to go again. No one likes starting from the back, and everybody's trying to fight for the front. Just got to remain calm, be patient, and you can get up there.
And it's so easy to get a little bit excited on these restarts, especially after stage 1. If you want to go out and make up some ground here, get a little bit more track position, and the restarts are the best time to get track position. It's really easy to just jump that gun a little bit and get a little bit overexcited and get on the gas a little bit too early here on the starts. But the number 9, I was impressed with him. He got off to a great race start. Same with the 97, still running in the 3rd position. Of course, we only did about half a lap, so we'll see how well they fare on this restart. Hopefully we can get a couple more laps under our belt. But I was very happy with the racing we've seen so far, Patrick. I know that all these drivers are out here putting on a show for us on Saturday night here on 10-4 Broadcasting. We do want to thank some of the league sponsors as well while we get a chance. Here, got to thank Butt Kicker, Mid-Cities Air Conditioning and Heating, Scotty Hottie Designs, Cushman and Sons Incorporated, where they do custom embroidery, screen printing, logo design, ad specialty items, and so much more. Excuse me. As well as DC Designs and Napa Coastal Auto Parts. All those sponsors are also scrolling up in the top right corner, and I will work on getting some links up for them in the video description in the near future, hopefully. We do have some people in the chat now. Will Tiller, one of our broadcasters here at 10-4, saying let's go taco. And over on the YouTube side of things, I'm going to say this wrong, but we also have someone on YouTube as well. Thank you. I'm thinking about how I'm going to say this. I'm going to call you JJ because I don't want to get it wrong. Patrick, it's been quite the show. I know that this is one of your first broadcasts up here on 10-4. You've been sitting in on a lot of our broadcasts so far, but how's this race stacked up compared to some of the other stuff you've seen? I know that this is one of the better, more exciting 1.5 mile races I've seen in a while, because we've been side by side somewhere on track almost the whole time. But just kind of, how do you think this race is going from your perspective?
It's going about as expected. Nice seeing that to me, a few too many cautions. I think if once these guys settle down a little bit, get back in the groove, we'll be back under green flag racing, a little more door-to-door action. I think Gortman, McCarthy, and Ramsdale, they're really going to be watching that number 9 because the last jump, they're not going to be sleeping this time. They're going to be, they're going to stack up on him. I think they're going to be right close and snug when this pace car ducks off. Mitchell, when it's quite when you're going for the restart, it's not just stomp on the gas. You kind of have to expect what the guy's doing next to you. You can't pass him before the finish line. What is the best way to make the launch, seeing that you're an iRacer yourself?
It's really difficult, especially on the 1.5 miles, to really get the jump. If you're that car on the inside, the best thing you can do is hope that you get on the gas about the same time that leader does and get some help pushing behind you. That's really where the momentum can come from. That 97 car of Jeffrey Ramsdale behind the 84. That's where I would be looking to hopefully get my momentum going quickly. But the number 9 of Jeffrey Babcock leads the field back to green, and we are 3 wide here on this restart. The number 97 on 2 tires.
They're starting to stack up. There they go.
Yeah, down the back straightaway, still 3 wide. Here comes the number 24 of Kayla McCarthy up the inside, up the middle, excuse me. Then look at the 53 of Charles Evans shooting the gap up the middle. What a restart. This has been great first lap. The number 9 of Robert Babcock, loving what he's seeing behind him. There's actually, though, a battle for the race lead going to be on here momentarily between the 84 of Trevor Hoke and the number 9 of Babcock. Remember, Babcock on some older tires here. There goes the 84 up the inside, trying to make the pass. Can he do it into turn 3? Yes. The 84 going to get that position made. Meanwhile, back behind him, it is still a really elbows out race. Here's the number 97 getting passed by the number 24 of Kayla McCarthy. We had her in chat moments ago saying, let's go 24. Cheering herself on here. Nothing wrong with that. Here comes the 53 of Charles Evans, your points leader, and really led a lot of the laps early on, getting mired back in traffic for the time being. The 16 of Lucas Gortman, another driver we've had our eye on a lot early. David Moody right there in the number 20 with a good run up the inside. And oh, look at Charles Evans jump to the inside, Patrick. There's drivers everywhere. I'm loving what I'm seeing right now.
What a move. And with fresh tires, we're able to make these maneuvering. Tires are now starting to heat up, attack up, and wait. Yeah, wow. What a move by 53, taking the inside. It looks like he may have picked up a spot and worked his way around the 97. But as you can see, Kayla McCarthy working away here on the inside. She's been running the high line most of the night. Now I guess now that the night's wearing on, we're starting to feel more of that low end track, and she's getting a lot more grip down there on the bottom.
You do see the drivers kind of moving down a little bit further to the inside lane here a little bit as we get running some more laps. You saw them work around the number 9 of Robert Babcock on those old tires, who's done a really phenomenal job keeping himself up there in the battle. The number 97 of Jeffrey Ramsdale on 2 tires, though. He finds himself in the battle as well. Of course, the number 9 getting into this picture, but you've got David Moody there working the outside lane. Lucas Gortman there as well. Don't want to count him out. We've seen a lot of speed from the 16 as he's going to look to take it up top 3 wide. Will he have the momentum? No, it doesn't look like he will. Down the back straightaway, we remain 2 wide for the time being. But this battle continues to rage on here through the middle. Not really the middle of the pack. This is the battle for 4th place. I definitely would not call this mid-pack. Watch, though, the number 4 of Jonathan Humphrey. All this fighting and side-by-side racing starting to drag up the number 4 into this fight as the 16 gets above the number 97 as David Moody was able to get around him. So we continue the racing here through turns 3 and 4. These drivers do not want to stop. There's also a battle a little bit further back, not quite there, between Dustin Roos and Jody Hoke here. We'll get a little bit of a closer up look. These two have been going at it here over the last couple of laps. You see Jody Hoke. No, I'm looking at the wrong driver. This is Dustin Roos and Charles Van Schaik. Then behind them as well as the number 11 of Hunter Moody. Now I've got the right drivers. The 11 of Moody looking to challenge Van Schaik for this position here. Meanwhile, we still have a really good battle brewing up here between the number 9 and 16 now. The number 97 of Ramsdell has now fallen into the clutches of Jonathan Humphrey there in the 4, which leaves us a nice little battle between the 9 and 16 who have kind of finally resolved it. But let's not forget the battle for the race lead, which is now ensuing. Action everywhere, Patrick. Now Trevor Hoke is your race leader, but Kayla McCarthy has come on strong. She is up the inside lane, making the pass on the number 84. New race leader is the number 24 of Kayla McCarthy.
Oh, dog, and you can see that move there as you see 84 is sneaking to the inside, trying to make sure he keeps himself in her mirror, letting her know that she's still there. Gortman still hanging out there in the back. He's working his way up front. Hey, that was the battle you saw earlier. The number 4 car is, as we can see, I'd like to see out of his windshield. As you can see, he wants to find a way around, but man, it's getting too close and tight in there. Looks like that 97 starting to slide a little bit on that inside, so you got to be careful here.
This time around, it is 5 laps to go till the end of stage number 2. Remember, at the end of lap 50, stage caution coming out as we ride on board with that number 4 of Jonathan Humphreys. He is going to take it up the inside of the number 97. I thought they were 3 wide. They were not. Got Will Tiller in the chat asking who's been dominating, and Will, the answer is really no one has stood out as the dominating car. There have been so many drivers get up to the front of this race. We see Kayla McCarthy running away with the race lead at the moment over Trevor Hoke, but this is the first time Kayla has led. She kind of fell back on the initial start, I believe, and is now running up toward the front of the track. You saw the number 84, I believe, actually clip the wall out of turn number 2. That's going to put him back into the clutches of the 53 of Charles Evans, who was kind of your early race dominator, led a decent chunk of the first stage, didn't end up winning though. The driver that won stage 1 was the number 84 of Trevor Hoke, who is now running in the second place battle, but Kayla McCarthy's running away with it while these two are busy battling for second.
Yes, and Kayla McCarthy during practice, she was handling herself very well. She liked the way the track felt, and right after qualifying, she said she was very happy to be back on the circle tracks here on the 1.5 miles, and she felt very, very confident tonight about placing very high, and possibly most likely top 5. So she called her shot, and I'm more curious to see if she can hold up to that.
2 laps to go in stage number 2. This time by, you saw the 53 was so close to the back end of the 84 of Trevor Hoke. He could not quite clear that 84 this lap. Headed into turn number 3 there, coming to take the white flag in stage number 2. This time by, as this battle continues to go on, there's also a great battle for the 4th position we will look at very quickly here. Between that's the wrong driver, my apologies. Here's the battle for the 4th position between Lucas Gortman and David Moody. These two drivers putting on a heck of a show, but it looks like Gortman gonna get the edge. Meanwhile, let's look up at this battle for the 2nd position. It looks like Trevor Hoke has the edge, at least for the time being, through 3 and 4 for the final time in stage number 2. Charles Evans, though, fighting up the inside. Kayla McCarthy wins the stage. Who will finish second? Drag racing to the line. It is going to be Charles Evans in the number 53, who is going to edge out Trevor Hoke at the line. What a battle. Lucas Gortman also took home the 4th position. Kayla McCarthy here in the number 24 ran away with it, but what a battle down to the line we saw, Patrick, in that stage.
That was quite impressive. And seeing Kayla McCarthy coming back, I believe she started somewhere in the 14th position, battled all the way back, took the lead, and almost had a 4-second lead on second place. That whatever she's doing it right.
That's not Jonathan Humphrey waiting for it to update. There it is. That's Kayla McCarthy, your Stage 2 winner. Here she really came on strong there at the end of the stage. Very impressive run. Charles Evans finished second, like we said. Trevor Hoke in third. Lucas Gortman fifth. Lucas Gortman was fourth, excuse me. David Moody came across the line in fifth. Jeffrey Ramsdell on the 2 tires in that number 97 brought it home sixth. Very impressive. Ashton Hartman, really haven't talked about him yet tonight. He finished seventh. Robert Babcock on the no tire strategy held on for an 8th place finish in the stage, equally as impressive. Jonathan Humphrey finished 9th, and Jody Hoke, coming off a spin early in the race, rounds out your field of points earners there in the stage in the 10th position. Of course, all 18 drivers still on track tonight. That is something we love to see here, is all the drivers, it looks like, down pit road. Nobody a lap down either, Patrick. Everybody's still on the lead lap. You absolutely love to see that here in the Powerhouse Racing League.
That you do. And with 4 tires, fresh tank of fuel, they come down the pit road. I'm curious to see who can edge it out. And Kayla McCarthy gets out first. Looks like Gortman moves up to the place of third. 53 stays in second. So about the same starting lineup. As an iRacer, you are coming out after your second stage. You're Kayla McCarthy. You're running great. You're leading the pack. Do you make an adjustment?
I mean, I think they run fixed setups here. So there's only so much you can do to the car. You can tweak your brake bias, which can play a role here if you use your brakes on the 1.5 miles, which you can do in some cars. I don't know how well that works in these cars, but I think really you showed a ton of speed there, and you really dominated the latter portion of that stage. You just got to keep doing what you're doing up there. Stay calm, cool, and collected. But obviously she knows what she's doing. She just went and charged up to the front for that stage win. But got to watch Charles Evans, your points leader, coming into tonight there in that second position. He brought one heck of a fight to the 84 of Trevor Hoke, who won stage 1 and prevailed coming to the line. That 53 lost the lead and hasn't been able to go reclaim it. He's definitely got something to prove there under the hood of the 53. We know he had speed early, but gotta watch him here on this restart. But Lucas Gortman, if you had to guess, Patrick, where Lucas was going to start this restart, where would it be?
Is he in the 3rd position?
He is, in fact, going to restart 3rd. Mr. 3rd place is, I think, what we're going to lovingly call you here tonight at Chicagoland, Lucas, because I can't think of a restart you weren't in 3rd place. Well, the one after the pit stop strategy, no, I think he was 3rd place there too. Either way, Lucas Gortman has started 3rd place more times than I'm trying to think of a good comparison. He started 3rd a lot, folks. Almost every time, possibly every time. So very consistent up there. Don't believe he finished 3rd. He gained 1 spot over Trevor Hoke in pit road, as iRacing pace car lights should be going off. Yes, they are. You see Kayla McCarthy getting all up close and personal with the pace car driver here. But Patrick, no more stages when we go green. About a 44 lap run to the finish. Going to be very exciting. Stage 2 definitely ramped up the action, I think, off stage 1. That was entertaining to watch the entire time. I can't wait for this final run when all the big points are on the line here.
I agree. And I think Gortman, even though he's starting 3rd, Mr. Consistency, I think he might have his chance of a breakout here. About 3 or 4 laps in, I noticed the tires start heating up, and he starts really picking up some speed. And shout out to him for being a Class C driver and out here rolling with the Class A drivers and holding his own. Clean racing, and I think he's truly a joy to be around from the other drivers.
On my thing, he is showing up as a Class A, and in fact, a very high I rating too for Lucas Gortman on what I am looking at. So,
okay, I noticed the yellow stripe on the back of his car. I wasn't sure.
That might be just in the design of the car. I think that's something these cars have on them. in the setup, or it could be a rookie stripe of
Then
some
I
kind.
stand corrected.
Yeah, he is Class A, I do believe, but that is not as important as the fact that the race has gone back to green with Kayla McCarthy scooting away with the race lead. Here is the battle between Charles Evans and Lucas Gortman. Watch the 84 of Trevor Hoke behind them, trying to make up for that one lost spot on the restart. This side-by-side battle heads into turn number 3, about dead even there into the turn. Good battle between Jeffrey Ramsdell and David Moody as well for the 5th place position here. They stay dead even side by side, one lap back to green flag racing we go. So they got very close there through the middle of turns 1 and 2. It looks like Lucas Gortman has an edge. Is he able to clear the 84? Not the 84, the 53. Yes, he is. Give the position to Gortman for the time being. Good battle a little bit further back as well as this one heats up. Well, there was a battle there. I believe they have gone single file. That's the 11 of Hunter Moody. Was locked in battle with the 57 and 9, but for the time being, that fight has simmered down, but this one has not. Up front, Charles Evans trying to get back at Lucas Gortman again. Not going to make it happen. Here comes a little bit of a fight. The number 4 of Jeffrey Ramsdell trying to get back around the 97, the 4 of Jonathan Humphrey, trying to get around the 97 of Ramsdell. I make my drivers up there. Watch the 23 of Charles Van Schaik here. I haven't talked too much about him. He was in a good battle there toward the end of the last stage, but driver that DoorDash, number 23, is doing a heck of a job here, keeping it clean and working his way up through the field. Crack the top 10 now. Side by oh, sorry, Patrick.
Yeah, side by side with the 97 DuPont car, taking on your favorite paint scheme in the 4. Seems and then we got a wreck on the front stretch there.
We are wrecking. We stay green for now. I stand corrected. There is a caution as soon as I say it. You saw that one happen live there, folks, but we're going to take another look back and see exactly where that caution originated. I think it was just the aggressive side-by-side racing we saw here between the 97 and the 4. You see the 4 drift up the track, and the 97's there. And the 57 of Ashton Hartman has absolutely nowhere to go but into the back of that race car. And unfortunate for all those drivers, as that's a lot of damage on that Pepsi machine of Ashton Hartman.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate crash there, but yeah, as you can see, it looks like he tries to slide up the track and slide just around the outside of him. But man, when the 97 hits the wall there, that's kind of all she wrote.
Yeah, riding on
right
board.
here. Boom, right there.
There's just no time to react to that, Patrick.
No, and you run out of options. You hit the brakes, you hit the gas, you're there. There's nowhere to go when you're rolling over 180 miles an hour. You got about half a second, and it's too late.
Yeah, just a little too late for the driver of the number 57, Ashton Hartman, as he is now still rolling, but toward the back of the field, as the whole field coming down pit road, with one exception here, which we will highlight in just a second as soon as I get it caught up. Jody Hoke stays out. We'll make it 2 exceptions. The number 19 of William Buss Jr. I'm again sorry for butchering your last name. You can get with me after the broadcast and we'll get that figured out. Will Tiller still in the chat saying a little home cooking. Kayla is the admin of the league, and it's always good to see league admins running well in their league because there is so much work that goes on behind the scenes to put this kind of thing on. I've been involved in league racing for a long time, broadcast a lot of different leagues, and there is so much that goes on to get the league ready for race week. Of course, a ton of work has gotten put into getting us here at 3Y TV, so always got to appreciate the league admins. Will Tiller pointing out Kayla, who has run so strong tonight, currently 3rd. I bet Lucas Gortman's heart is going to be broken. He will restart 4th, I believe, on this one.
That he is, but as you can see, he was doing quite well last time. I think Kayla's still got a lot left in the tank. This may be a fuel strategy pit here, saying that we may stretch it to the end under green flag racing.
Lucas will be starting 5th. I stand corrected. The number 9 of Robert Babcock got up through the field a little bit there. Went in farther back in the pack, I do believe, now up into the 3rd position, according to my scoring, is yes, the number 19 of William. I'm just going to stick with William because I'm sorry, I don't want to mess up your name. Number 19 of William in that Napa Auto Parts. Our car is down pit road getting his stop, but that does leave Jody Hoke out in the race lead. Good comeback for Jody. We saw her get caught up in that initial incident. Wasn't much of her fault, but got spun around there onto the apron of turns 3 and 4 under our first caution. Here she is leading the race. So good turnaround here for Jody, and hopefully she can hold that car up toward the front of the pack.
And just a reminder, we are on lap 63 in the final stage of this race in the Powerhouse Racing League.
It's been quite the show so far. A good first race for us here at 10-4 Broadcasting. Again, want to thank everyone at Powerhouse Racing for letting us come in here and do this broadcast. I've enjoyed it. I'm sure you have too, Patrick, and all of you out there watching and in the chat. We've had Will Tiller, JJ, and Kayla McCarthy all get in the chat. Of course, if you are watching and you would like to chat with us here in the booth, we are friendly. Like I say, I don't bite. I don't think Patrick does either. I'm not quite sure. It's only my 2nd time working with him. But I don't think he does either. I feel like he's not that kind of guy. And so we are getting lined up 1 to go green. Again, Patrick here, and Jody's going to take the outside lane there in that number 322 over Kayla McCarthy, who has fresh tires on the inside.
And it's nice to see the 322 car being able to get out there after a little trouble earlier in the race. I think McCarthy, she's going to have her work cut out for her, definitely here on the inside edge. But she's not going to be the one who chooses this relaunch as we get ready to go under green.
Jody Hoke, as soon as that pace car goes down, she has control over when the field hits the gas pedal and we go back green. So a lot of control up there for the 322 of Jody Hoke, and we weren't on track super long. I'll be curious to see how well her tires hold up here against really everyone else in the field having fresh tires. So we'll just have to wait and see. As there goes the pace car down pit road. The number 322 already on the loud pedal is Jody Hoke as we go back green flag racing here with a great jump over the 24 of Kayla McCarthy. Battle for 3rd and 5th already on here. Under green is all the 322 slid up the racetrack down the back or through turns 1 and 2, down the back straightaway. The 24 of Kayla McCarthy already back up to the race lead. So what seemed like a great restart for the 322 of Jody Hoke went very wrong in turns 1 and 2. That car just kind of slid up back down to 3rd as there went Lucas Gortman through turns 3 and 4, also getting around the 322 as there comes more.
Yeah, not sure what's going on with the 322 car there. I'm not sure if we got a little issue with some worn tires or some body damage there. Seemed kind of rolling back there just a little bit, but everybody's safely getting around her, making sure everybody's staying clean because we still got a lot more race to go. And Mitchell, when you kind of run, you take the gamble when you decide to stay on older tires. What is the best strategy to stay out front, be safe, and to score some points up in the front half?
I mean, really the only goal is to keep the car clean, and of course you want to stay as up front as you can. She's really struggling with the age of those tires. I think it's playing a little bit more of a factor here than we thought. There's also a little bit of left side damage possibly from that first caution. But I think really she's doing a good job so far. She's kind of settled in here in the 6th position, exactly what you would want to do. And I mean, the top 8 here have completely broken away. You see the number 28 of David Moody here running in 8th. They've got a great gap back to 9th place Richard Crane. So I think they're doing exactly what they want to do. It looks like Richard Crane actually lost that position to the 57 of Ashton Hartman, coming off of being involved in that most recent caution as he is up in the wall out of turn 4. A lot of damage. He's sparking down the front straightaway. Something dragging on that number 57. That is not good for Hartman.
Nope. And it looks like that right front wheel might be wedged in the front. He won't make it too long. Hopefully he will be able to make it off the track. If not, we may have to pull out a caution due to debris on the track.
And we will have to wait and see. But you can see a lot of damage for that number 57. Looks like he is going to stay out on track, though, for the time being. Going under pressure from the number 11. This is the best battle on the racetrack at the moment. There is a little bit of a battle, though, heating up for the race lead. I take it back. Kayla McCarthy under pressure from Mr. Third Place himself, Lucas Gortman. And watch Charles Evans there, also in the third place position right there for this battle from the race lead. Kayla going low. Lucas looking up a little higher down the front straightaway. The 16 will have momentum over the number 24. Watch the 53 as well. Looked fast. Kayla, though, a lot of speed in that number 24 Chevy, and she's able to hold it out in the race lead for the time being.
Gortman not letting her get away as he makes a move to the inside. He's going to sneak in there, and let's see if Kayla can hold him. As Gortman from third place looking to lead the few laps of this race. I think you probably enjoy being out front and looking at somebody else's spoiler.
Yep, did a good job through turns 3 and 4 in that back row sim racing machine. But Kayla McCarthy fighting back there in the Oakley machine there on the inside, trying to get the run up inside the 16. Not going to happen, though, at least through turns 3 and 4. That time by as watch the 53 of Charles Evans there. He is getting up underneath of the 24, and don't look anywhere as well because the 23 of Charles Van Schaik right here as well in this battle. All the fighting has brought the number 23 into the picture for the race lead. These drivers have developed a 2-second gap back to fifth place, David Moody. All these drivers right under a blanket, single file for the time being. Some drivers that are fighting, though, is David Moody back in the 5th position. Just got passed by the 84 of Trevor Hoke, who is your Stage 1 winner. Struggled to get back up to the front, at least right now, but battle for the lead. The 16 of Lucas Gortman under pressure from Charles Evans, who hasn't led a lap since early on in this race. Dominated the early portion of the race here tonight at Chicagoland, looking to make the inside lane work, Patrick, but not able to quite get the move done, at least that time.
No, it's not, Mitchell. Seems the high line seems to be working quite well. They seem to be pulling quite some time here. Oh, as you can see, he's sneaking underneath, trying to pass, but not enough momentum. Hopefully we got enough race here to kind of see them go at it door to door.
Well, Kayla McCarthy kind of looking under Charles Evans here as well, and McCarthy and Van Schaik had a good little battle going on as well for the 3rd position. Don't want to overlook that. These two have been going at it just as much as those two have been for the race lead, but right now McCarthy putting a lot of pressure on the 53 of Evans, but she's getting a lot of pressure from the 23 of Charles Van Schaik. And of course, Lucas Gortman is still feeling the pressure from Charles Evans. So these drivers all in high pressure situations up here for the race lead. Battle for 5th not going away, though, as well. There's Trevor Hoke and David Moody. Hoke still has the position, at least for now, but Moody right on the back bumper of that number 84. Meanwhile, though, pass going on for the race lead. Potentially, the 53 gets very close to that rear corner panel of the 16 of Lucas Gortman, but Gortman doing a good job holding on to the race lead for now. All these drivers, their fastest lap in the race is so close. It's crazy. They're all within a half a tenth of each other in terms of their best lap of the race. Lucas Gortman and Charles Evans, their best lap is only 2 1,000ths apart. The driver with the fastest lap of the race is Kayla McCarthy, who has had a ton of speed here, and her battle with the 23 continues to go on as this one is kind of settling down now a little bit down the back straightaway. The 53 just can't quite get that edge over the 16 he needs to make this pass.
And what an amazing run here from Powerhouse Racing. These drivers are really trying the top 4 here to get around, as we see Miss McCarthy there loses a spot to Moody. And shout out here from 10-4 Broadcasting. We appreciate you joining us here with less than 30 laps to go.
We are getting into the closing stages of this one. And while we were saying that, there goes the number 53 of Charles Evans to the race lead over the 16 of Lucas Gortman. He made that pass happen through turns 1 and 2. And already Gortman under fire from Charles Van Schaik, your third place runner who got around Kayla McCarthy. So a ton of battles mixing up position, but still the action remains. And the 53 has gotten away to just a slight lead, but really the 16's still there. Of course, the 53, Patrick, the only one that time through turns 1 and 2, I notice, who was able to make it stick all the way on the inside. So we have some drivers down pit road. The number 9 down pit road. It
looks like he might have some side damage there. I'm not sure if maybe he hit the wall. Yeah, same with the 98 there.
I think at this point they've been running super hard, bumper-to-bumper racing the whole time. If there aren't a couple bent fenders, I would be a little bit surprised at this point in the race. These drivers driving on the absolute edge, and that is exactly what the number 23 of Charles Van Schaik is doing. Got up to the outside of the 16 of Lucas Gortman. Watch Kayla McCarthy. Here comes Gortman down pit road. Same with McCarthy. These drivers making their green flag pit stops here. So I am assuming, Patrick, the fuel window has opened as we have 20 laps left in this race. Also the 57 of Ashton Hartman down pit road. The 322 of Jody Hoke, who's done a good job hanging in on those old tires. The 2 of Troy Trudeau also down pit road. We'll see this time what your race leader does. Charles Evans on the apron. He'll be down pit road this time. Not so much though, while David Moody is coming down pit road. The 23 of Charles Van Schaik stays out on the racetrack and is putting the number 97 of Jeffrey Ramsdell a lap down now. So Van Schaik has stayed out, and the 12 of Dustin Ross, the only two who have yet to make their green flag pit stops. We will see what they do this time by. See the 23 slow, Patrick. He's coming down pit road. We'll see about the 12 who gets up into the wall. That might foil some plans to be down pit road. The 12 going to stay out this time, but we'll just have to see where things cycle out here over the next couple of laps.
Yep, seems everybody so far has taken the gamble. Looks going with another full tank of fuel. That way we can stretch this thing to the end, and 4 more tires. That way we should be able to stick up and then rock on around. Evans coming out of pit road. Looks like he's ready to give this lead another run.
The number 19 of William Buss has also not made his pit stop. I believe he might have been 1 lap down, though, to start this run. He finds himself in the 3rd position, at least for now, or of course I could have just missed his pit stop, but my timing showed him coming from behind all the lap cars, which is what's making me think he was lapped. But you see him coming down pit road this time. The 12th, though, continues to stay out. We'll see this time as you see Kayla McCarthy there, Charles Evans in the 53, making their way around the 12 of Dustin Roos, who is up in the wall once again through turns 3 and 4. Pitting this time is the 12. That is going to cycle the field back around, and I believe that Lucas Gortman will have a substantial race lead by the time things cycle out.
Yeah, and what a great break for Gortman, being able to pull out in front like this. I mean, starting 3rd every time, but consistency. And now we're pulling away, but we're about to find out if McCarthy can reel him in.
That battle right here between Kayla McCarthy and Charles Evans as they put, I believe, the number 98 Yeah, the number 98 of Danny down 1 lap. He is running down in the 18th position at the moment. This is the battle for the 2nd position once things shake out, because the number 12 of Dustin Roos has made his pit stops, the 98 up into the wall. Kayla McCarthy going to stretch out a little bit of a lead, but they are well behind Lucas Gortman, who is just now hitting the start-finish line. Now, there, you see now McCarthy just hitting the start-finish line. So Gortman has pulled out a heck of a race lead with just under 15 laps left in this one. Can they catch him? It's going to take something, because he currently has a 4-second lead over the 24 of McCarthy, but she has been fast in the latter half of this race. We will have to wait and see, but the issue is that if these two get fighting, Kayla McCarthy and Charles Evans, they are certainly not, I wouldn't think, going to be able to run down that 16. So, I mean, if you're these two, do you play nice and hope that you can run him down 4 seconds? They have made up about a half a second, a little less than a half a second so far. So I think if you're these two, you might want to play nice, at least for a little bit longer. You've got time to race each other for the 2nd position later on. If that doesn't work out, nice little battle I want to highlight here between the 28 of David Moody and, well, they settled it down before I got to him, but Trevor Hope was just passed by David Moody. That is the 5th position, Patrick. So pit stops have cycled out. We have kind of seen where these leaders have made their bed, and it looks like Lucas Gortman pulled out a significant gap, but I'm looking, Patrick, they are now within under 3 seconds to your leader. 2 tires stop possibly from Gortman? Get him this lead?
Possibly, but he's got 10 laps to go. If they're reeling him in by half a second, at half the time they'll be there on his rear bumper. So no longer looking just out the hood. He's going to be staring at that rear view mirror.
Riding on board with Kayla McCarthy, you can see that car out in the distance is the number 16 of Lucas Gortman, who has lost a second over the last 3 laps to these two. So either they are very fast, or he is out there nurturing some 2 tires, or possibly no tires stop. He was right there with the leaders, waited a lap, I believe, to make his pit stop over them. So my little broadcaster's gut is telling me he made a 2-tire stop, but I don't have any data to back that up. That is just kind of my hunch, because I've been doing this for a little while, but they caught him by about 3/100ths. I'll pull up this nifty little graphic and hope it works. It doesn't always work. It is working today. Sometimes it likes to cut off the entire right side, but it is working, and it's worked since the last update of this software. You can see the gap. Kayla McCarthy closed in 3/10 that last time by. This is comparing their lap times every time around. We'll see this time, as you see that 90, or not the 97, the 16 is getting much closer to Kayla McCarthy now. It looks like he actually pulled out a little. No, I'm looking at him now, which means Kayla McCarthy closed in another 3/10. I do believe, but caution flag, Patrick. That changes everything.
Wow. And especially if he is riding on 2 tires. And with Kayla McCarthy on 4 fresh new ones, the restart is going to be quite tricky. Now, as a strategy, is now the best time to pit, or do you try to shoot it out to the end?
That is a really difficult question. As you see, it was kind of down the back straightaway. The number 2 car of Troy Trudeau got into the back of the 36 of Richard Crane, bringing out this last caution. We'll ride on board with the number 2. I think a little bit of an attempt at maybe some bump drafting there. We will see. Down the back straightaway here, you see the number 36. The number 2 has a run, just kind of gets into the back of the 36 and turns him around. That is where that caution came from. But back to your question, we will see here when we go back live. It's lap 94. I would assume we go back green lap 96, 97 with 3 or 4 to go. Honestly, for me, I stay out here. And that seems to be the strategy of Lucas Gortman, Kayla McCarthy, Charles Evans, the 84 car of Trevor Hoke, the first car to go down pit road. We see the 9 as well of Robert Babcock, who's he got up there on that tire strategy a little earlier in the race in stage 2, kind of hasn't been able to get back up toward the front. He's down pit road as well. But the leaders appear to be staying out, which with 3 or 4 laps to go, I'm staying out. I completely support that decision. I don't know about you, Patrick. And Will Tiller in the chat saying that this is going to be a Hamilton versus Verstappen finish. Let's go. It's definitely shaping up to be quite the race here. It's been... Patrick, there's not one driver I could put my finger on to say this driver dominated this race. We have seen such a mix up front. You know, there's a handful of drivers all who have had the speed to win this race. And it's just amazing race that Powerhouse Racing League has put on here tonight.
I agree. And as you can see, we're on, I think, our 5th leader so far. Gortman finally breaking away at a 3rd place and leading a good bunch of laps here. I hope everything plays out well for him. But as the track changes, things are going to start happening. And as you can see, let's see, we're looking at the pace car is going to run us another couple more laps here. That way everybody can kind of make that decision one more time if we're going to hit pit road. But with the race leader and everything, everybody's getting a good chance. Everybody's racing fairly clean this race. As Kayla McCarthy, I really wonder if she's got enough left in the tank here to give Gortman a good run for his money.
I think, assuming Gortman is on older tires, which I think he was, by the way he was running, because he's been very fast, and they were catching him by half a second at least sometimes every lap. I have to imagine he could be nursing some older tires here, but Kayla McCarthy has been great on short runs. I think she has had some of the best short run speed here tonight. Of course, these are older tires they're restarting on, so it makes it even trickier on the restart to get that jump, because these tires will spin a whole lot easier than fresh Goodyears will. But, I mean, look at the top 3 is Lucas Gortman, Kayla McCarthy, and Charles Evans, who have all, I feel like, led a significant amount of laps tonight. Charles Van Schaik there in 4th hasn't gotten up to the lead, but he has definitely been a contender up front as of late. He was mixing it up with all those top 3 drivers, so that 23 is definitely a threat to win. The 20 of David Moody's right there in 5th as pace car lights are off, so we will have 3 to go when we go back green. But David Moody has had a very fast car. The number 4 of Jonathan Humphrey in 4th. Very fast early on in the race. We talked about him a lot. It's anybody's game. There's so many fast cars, and not all of them have led laps. Like you said, 5 leaders is still pretty good for a 100-lap race at Chicago, but there are just so many contenders that I can't put my finger on one here late in the race.
I agree. And we'd like to thank you again for joining us here at 10-4 Broadcasting. Feel free to talk to us in the chat. Talk to us about anything. Well, who do you think will win? Who do you think might just pull this out? I'm not sure. I'm hoping everybody stays clean, because one more caution and one big wreck out of the front 5 could change the whole ball game.
Yep.
As you see, the pace car is getting ready to duck off here in a little bit. Shout out to Will Tiller. And take it away.
Yeah, and if a caution comes out, like you said, we are looking at overtime here at Chicagoland. Green-white checker. This is a little green-white checkered start here. The 16 of Lucas Gortman has control over the field, and he is on the loud pedal now. Good start for the 16. Got out front, but can he hold back the number 24 of Kayla McCarthy? We will have to wait and see. Charles Evans gets up into the 3rd position. They single file out. Here comes McCarthy already up the inside. Will Tiller says that he's liking Kayla to take home the double. She is looking strong right now. Kayla McCarthy up the inside, showing all the speed she has in that car, using all the short run pace to go up the inside through turns 3 and 4. 2 laps to go. Kayla McCarthy your new race leader here. Is a good battle for third between Charles Evans and Charles Van Schaik. The two Charleses up here in the top 5, putting on the show for third. Number 16 of Lucas Gortman not giving up the battle in second, though, but McCarthy just has the speed coming to 1 lap to go, Patrick.
And Gortman hanging on in the second place position, 23, trying to take a quick peek in there for the third position. Kayla McCarthy pulling away with this one. I think she might just have this one in the bag, but that does not mean we're finished with the rest of the field. As you can see, the 23 car passing on the inside almost. Seeing that white flag, last lap.
Yep, white flag in the air. This will be the last lap of the race. Battle for second place is on between Lucas Gortman and your points leader coming in, Charles Evans. Evans up the inside. They got so close. Watch out for Van Schaik there as the 16 got up into the wall. Maybe all the 16 ducking low. Kayla McCarthy, though, is gonna win your race here tonight from Chicagoland. What a drive from Kayla. So fast late in this race. So throughout the whole race, but really got up into the lead at the start of the final stage. Led a ton of laps, got back up here. Clutch on the final restart, got around the 16. Very well-deserved victory here at Chicagoland for Kayla McCarthy.
And the Oakley machine doing what it does best in the short runs. Unfortunately, Lucas Goldman fell off a little bit, but it seems everybody seemed to race real clean there as she gets ready to burn off the tires.
Yep, she came into this race 14th in points. She does have a win on the season, so she becomes the first repeat winner so far this season in the Powerhouse Racing League, 6 races in. So 5 races, 5 winners, not a bad way at all to start the season. But Kayla McCarthy gonna do some burnouts here down at the pit exit. Will Tiller called it in the chat. He said he thought Kayla was going to win. I chose not to make a pick here tonight because I don't want a commentator's curse on my very first trip into the booth here. Will Tiller in the chat saying awesome win, Kayla, and awesome broadcast voice. Thank you, Will. We do our best here, but the real work's out there. Kayla McCarthy, you see her burning it down now. Awesome job out there on track tonight. Well-deserved win here. Patrick, I mean, what a final restart. See, we will get some interviews lined up for you as well here shortly on 10-4 Broadcasting. We're going to talk to all of your top 3 finishers tonight if we can. I'm trying to find them all here.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was talking about the Powerhouse Racing League and how close of a nail biter it was right there at the end. You saw Kayla McCarthy get that nice pull away, but Gortman being able to hang it out there right to the end. So I give it to him. He placed well, and everybody did a great job racing tonight.
Yeah, everyone did an excellent job as we see Kayla out there finishing up her burnouts tonight. There on the front straightaway. Great job late in the race, and I am going to go run down into the pit lane really quickly. Charles Van Schaik is our first finisher here tonight in the top 3. Charles, this is Mitchell in the 10-4 Broadcasting booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, first of all, I have to ask you how to pronounce your last name because I feel like I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
It's Van Schaik.
Ah, so I was wrong. Van Schaik.
Yep.
All right, I apologize. I will get it right next week. But you put on a heck of a run here tonight. Strong third place finish. We saw you mixing it up front for a lot of the race. Tell us about your night.
This is the first time I've run on this track on iRace, and I've run it on different platforms and games. So a lot of the stuff I thought I knew didn't work. Got into the wall a couple times. Just trial by error. Figured it out. Getting a stage 3 and started making my way through, making a lot of gains, almost 2/10 coming out of the turns.
Yeah, we saw through the race, there were a lot of comers and goers toward the front of the field. Kind of take us through.
Overall, how did it feel like the car was handling tonight?
Honestly, in the beginning, I mean, for me, I run a very, very low brake bias, so I'm always fighting it. But towards the end, I could basically almost put it wherever I really wanted to, especially coming out of the turns. Loose was loose a little bit. It got tighter for me, which fit perfectly into what I was trying to do.
Awesome. A very clean race you ran tonight.
Yeah, and just kind of take us through all the mixed strategy bag we saw through the night, especially on the final stop. There were some mixed 2 tires, no tires all through the night. Drivers really varied on their pit strategies. Do you think you nailed it there, and do you think you had anything else on that final restart you could have done to maybe get up and challenge Kayla for the win?
It's kind of my own error why I couldn't get up there. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 to go. I got under Charles and didn't have a good entry, and I had to let off. If not, I was going to door him. So I let off and killed my run. So at that point, I was just fighting. Once I made that mistake, I was fighting for second or third. Strategies, I mean, if that last caution doesn't come out, looks like the 2 tires strategy would have worked. But once that caution came out, you know, he was a sitting duck with us 3 behind him.
Well, definitely, still, nonetheless, third place is a run to be proud of here, especially when the field was as competitive as it was here tonight at Chicago. Next week, though, we're going road course racing, mixing it up, something we don't do very much. Tell us about Watkins, Glenn, your thoughts, and do you think we could be interviewing you next week?
Only because it's Watkins Glen. If it was any other road course, I'd say I probably wouldn't even finish the race. But Watkins Glen, I'm decent at. So I don't think I've ever run it in the ARCA cars, so that will be different. I'll have to test that out. But hopefully.
Well, definitely looking forward to seeing you out there on track next week. We hope to talk to you again, but before we let you go, do you want to give any shout-outs?
Yeah, just, you know, obviously to the admins, to broadcast, Ramsdale and Richard Crane. I guess we basically are teammates. We're in the chat communicating, letting each other know everything. And, yeah, just the league in general. It's a good league. My own team, Goat Racing's on Facebook. Also, we'll be starting a league shortly, but I don't know if this is the right platform to promote that. So, yeah, just great job. I always watch the broadcast after, so I'm sure you guys did a great job. I kind of overheard it in Richard's headphones, so sounded good, and the interview went good, except for me talking. So I'll let you guys get to the next one.
Well, you could say that about the broadcast. It kind of goes well sometimes, except when I open my mouth on occasion. But thank you for stopping by and talking with us. Again, congratulations on the third place finish, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Yep, no problem. Thanks.
All right, that was your third place finisher. We're going to test my memory. You know, that was Charles. I'm going to go watch that interview over again. Make sure I never butcher that name again. I am very sorry. Once again, Charles. That was our first Charles. Yeah. Now we are going to get to talk to second place finisher Charles Evans. Charles, this is Mitchell in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
It's going pretty good for me. How about you?
Well, you know, second place is first loser, but, you know, we'll take it tonight.
Well, it was a really competitive race all around. We saw a lot of cars with a lot of speed down there tonight, and you were definitely one of the strong contenders, especially early on. Kind of take us through your race here, and do you think you had the speed to possibly make that move if you had more time?
So, I mean, we obviously were pretty quick early. I was just kind of biding my time running the top, saving tires, and made a mistake getting in the threes, you know, slapped the wall and gave up that stage 1 win. And when that happened, we lost track position. And at that point, we kind of, even though we were, you know, second, third, fourth, you still got to kind of scratch and claw because this track doesn't, even though it looks real wide, it's still pretty hard to pass the fast cars. And, you know, I think we got on the right strategy there at the end. I was actually intending to pit a little bit earlier, about a lap or two. And obviously, you know, I was a lap behind everybody, so we lost probably close to a second on that pit. and kind of puts us a little ways back. And Kayla was obviously really, really, really fast, and even though I was running with her there chasing down Lucas, I could get within 2/10 of her, but there was no, even if I could have got to her bumper, I don't think I could have got past her. So our cars were so equal at that point. And then right there at the end, we had that green-white checkered, essentially, that she got a great restart, got to kind of set Lucas up and got around him. And I was, I did not have the momentum, was just trying to get around Lucas there. Almost gave up second to Charles. So, it was a really, really fun race. I think track position is important, although we did, you were able to pass cars. That was a lot of fun. But it was real hard. Like I said, I think Kayla had the car to beat tonight, and we all raced good, clean. I don't think we touched anybody, and just a lot of fun racing.
Well, you talked about able to make passes. Kind of, which lane did you think was better? Because from up in the booth, I really couldn't distinguish if the top or the bottom had an advantage. So kind of from your perspective, where were you liking to run tonight, and was that what the rest of the field was doing?
Yeah, so it was really where the car was in front of you, to not take the air off the front of your car to make it turn. Although most of my passes were made on the bottom, just kind of getting the car down the bottom and rolling it real smooth and trying to go the shorter way around. But it really just depended on, where the car was in front of you. I think if we would have seen that long green flag run there at the end, or even if we'd had, say if the race would have been a little bit longer to stretch those tires out a little further, you might have seen the top have been the preferred later in the race. But we weren't getting a lot of tire wear, so you were able to roll that bottom a lot better, even on the older tires. Yeah, obviously slowed down quite a bit, but so did the guys running up top, where a lot of times that outside, once the tires go away, you can't hold the car down on the bottom, and you're going to have to run the top. So I would say overall the bottom was the place to be, especially on restarts. That would have been, my choice every time if I had an option.
Well, definitely. It was definitely kind of complex strategy with the different lanes, but the track we're going to next week maybe not as complicated in terms of lane choice. I'm talking about Watkins Glen road course.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the road course?
Yeah, I love driving the road courses. I'm by no means a road course driver. We normally do all right there, and hopefully get a top 5 out of it. It's a lot of fun. It throws just kind of a wrench in everything, and everybody's got to do something different. Some of the guys that don't run up front sometimes dominate those races, and guys that run up front, sometimes don't run well at all. And then you got guys that, are good at both. And I know for a fact Lucas is really good on those road courses, so I'm sure he'll be one to watch out for. And there's probably a handful of other ones in our field that are real good on road courses. So we'll have our hands full with those guys, but it'll still be a really fun race. I enjoy running those road courses. Just kind of gives you a different perspective.
Well, if tonight's race is any indicator, I think next week should definitely put on quite the show for us here up in the booth and all the people watching. And thank you for racing here tonight. It was very entertaining for us to watch, and glad I could spend my Saturday night up here watching you. But before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs you want to give?
Man, honestly, I'm glad that y'all are putting on the show. I'm glad she got someone to broadcast it, and I appreciate you guys. That's awesome. I know the last couple of weeks we hadn't had anybody, so I appreciate it. Everybody said that watched it so far and told me y'all did an awesome job, so I appreciate it. And glad that Kayla made it back and everybody else we raced with, man. It was just a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for stopping by. Again, congratulations on second place. I know you wish you could have won the race, but maybe you can go get one more position next week.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, that was Charles Evans, your second place finisher here tonight. And it is time to bring in to the broadcast booth down in Victory Lane is Kayla McCarthy. Kayla, do you have a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you loud and clear.
Well, you definitely had what seemed like the fastest car through a lot of the race, especially in the later stage, that final stage. Kind of take us through what gave you so much more speed than everyone else.
Honestly, it was just a strategy call. We came down on that first caution in stage 1 and took fuel only and managed the tires really good. And then at stage 1, we took tires just like everybody else, and kind of were on the same strategy up until the end of everybody. That last green flag stop, we decided to take 4, and it definitely was the game changer right there. If I did redo it, I'd do it every time.
Well, how important through the race was having 4 tires? Because we saw some drivers take 2, or some drivers go fuel only on some of the pit stops. How big a factor do you think tires were here tonight?
Oh, they were key. I made a long run in practice to test out, one, to see how far we could go on a fuel run, and two, just to see I could see everybody around me that had fresh tires, and they would gain from 4 to 6 seconds back on me over a couple of laps and pass me. So between that information that I gathered in practice and kind of going over some stuff, it was definitely 4 tires was the way to go. And I know some guys had to make a strategy call, and I get it, because I probably would have been in the same boat. But just knowing what I knew through practice and whatnot, it definitely made a difference. And I would, like I said, I'd do it all over again.
It's always definitely good insight we get from you drivers here, because there's so much more that goes into winning these races than sometimes we see up here in the booth. But I'm going to turn it over to my broadcast partner, Patrick. Do you have any questions for Kayla while we've got her?
Wow, wow! What a run that was. I watched you earlier in practice, and you were one of the faster ones on the track. You were saying you felt pretty confident about this track and how you were going to run. Did everything go as planned?
To be honest, I would have rather not seen that caution there at the end, but it still played out better than it could have overall. That caution just really showed how much 4 tires played off, or played better compared to the 2 tires that everybody else around us had. I know Lucas had 2 tires, and Charles Evans had 2 tires, and there was a couple guys behind them that had 4, but they were just unfortunately too far back. So overall, great night for us. We had to miss 2 weeks for some stuff going on, so to come back after 2 weeks and get a win, it was definitely fun, and means a lot.
Yeah, it's quite refreshing having a win here at Chicagoland. Next week, we're talking Watkins Glen. How do you feel about that track?
I'm not really that good on the road courses. I tend to struggle on the road courses, but I tend to capitalize on other people's mistakes. So we'll go into there looking for a good top 5 finish, good stage points, just like we did tonight. So try and start chipping away at these points again after missing these 2 weeks, and start making our way toward the top 10 in points again.
Oh, that's great to hear. And here from 10-4 Broadcasting, we appreciate you inviting us here to see the Powerhouse Racing League. Is there any shout-outs you would like to give?
Yeah, definitely got to give shout-outs to all of our sponsored Mid-Cities Air Conditioning, DC Designs, Cushman's and Sons for all the trophies they do for us over the last several seasons, Butt Kicker, and then most importantly Napa Coastal Auto Parts for everything that they've done for us this season. Huge shout out to my wife for everything she allows me to do, for being on here when I got family over and taking away from family time, but couldn't do it without everybody. And thank you to y'all for coming on for the season and broadcasting, man. It was I look forward to go back and watching it.
All right, well, thank you for stopping by, Kayla. Again, congratulations on the race win. We hope we can see you up again toward the front next week at Watkins Glen. And again, thank you all for having us to do the broadcast. I've had a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to doing more.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all coming on.
No problem. That was Kayla McCarthy, your race winner here tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway. Patrick, Kayla really strong through most of that race, but like she hit on here, I got to thank quickly before we go off air all the sponsors they have here in the Powerhouse Racing League, because the league and these broadcasts are not possible without all the sponsors, and they were scrolling on the ticker through the entire broadcast. But we have to thank Butt Kicker, Mid-Cities Air Conditioning and Heating, Scotty Hottie Designs, Cushman and Sons Incorporated, DC Designs, and Napa Coastal Auto Parts for all they do to help out the Powerhouse Racing League. But Patrick, do you have any closing thoughts here on the racing we saw tonight?
Honestly, not too many. It's never be counted out at this point. Is you may be racing strong, you may be racing kind of bad, but at the end, the last 20 laps are what matter.
It definitely does always kind of come down to the end of the race, and you can be fast early on, but that doesn't mean you are going to be up there at the end. But we did see Charles Evans, who was your early race leader, get up there late in the race and mix it up. We got to talk to him, but really quickly, I'm going to take you through, me and Patrick are going to take you through your final race results here tonight. Kayla McCarthy, of course, picked up the race win. Charles Evans in second place, and Charles Van Scoy, I'm going to listen to it again, in third place. We got to talk to all three of them. In fourth place was Lucas Gortman, who came so close to the race win, didn't quite have enough late. David Mooney picks up a fifth place finish. Jonathan Humphreys brings it home in sixth. Dustin Roos in the number 12. Sorry, Dustin, about your last name as well if it's wrong. In seventh. Robert Babcock finishes eighth. Trevor Hoek, again, also sorry for all the Hoiks, maybe. I'm missing your name as well. And Jody Hook rounds out your top 10. Patrick, want to take him through the rest of the field?
Nah, bud, you seem to be doing just fine.
All right, keep challenging me here. Hunter Moody brings it home in the 11th place position. Danny Pudden-Salzgeber brings it home in 12th. Sorry, Danny, if I missed that one. In 13th was Ashton Hartman. In 14th was the number 2 of Troy Trudeau. In 36th was Richard Crane. 97 of Jeffrey Ramsdell brings it home in 16th. We got Mr. Van Scoy in chat saying, I got it right. Let's go, Patrick. It might have taken all broadcasts. I think I finally got it. All right. Where was I? In 16th was Jeffrey Ramsdell. 17th was William Buss Jr. in the number 19. In 18th was Bart Hoke, who had a lot of trouble early on. And in 19th, rounding out the field, was Joshua Saucy in that number 999, who actually didn't start the race. I take that one back. 18 cars started the race. For most of the race, a lot of the field was on the lead lap. We can't complain about that. But for all of us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, we want to thank all of you who watched tonight's broadcast for tuning in. Of course, thank you to the Powerhouse Racing League for letting us come on board and do these broadcasts for you all. We hope to see you next Saturday night at the same time at Watkins Glen. We'll be live about 8:50. Next week, I was a little bit late getting this one started, but next week we will be live just a little bit before 8:50 from Watkins Glen, the road course. One of my personal favorites, Patrick. I absolutely love the road courses, so I'm looking forward to it. But again, for all of us at 10-4 Broadcasting, myself, Mitchell Adams, and my co-host Patrick Morrison, I want to thank you all for tuning in. And as I like to say at the end of all of my broadcasts, I hope you all stay safe.